What is going on, everybody? It is Friday, July 31st, 2015, and it is time to vlog. Excuse me if I seem kind of, well, not myself for the majority of the video. I am still recovering from the madness that was Otakon 2015. If you guys haven't seen already, I've already started to upload my videos, my interviews from the event, and even more are scheduled to release over the next couple of days. So if you want to check that out, I'll probably make a playlist for them, and people really gotta stop texting me during the video. A lot more things coming from Otakon, in addition to a general recap for the month of July. Really? This is why you should always silence your phone before a video. Well, regardless, let's get straight into it with an update for all of you Naruto fans out there. As you guys know, Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 4, the next installment of the Storm series, because, well, you know, we already don't have so many of those. I have not really been following Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 much, considering the fact that, well, they release a new one every damn year, so it's kind of hard to get excited for a new game in the series, regardless of whether or not it's a side title to tide us over till the main title the following year. However, we did get an update from Shonen Jump regarding the game's release date. Storm 4 has been pushed back to February 2016. We could get into a whole discussion on video game delays and talk about whether or not they're good or bad, but that's not what we're here for today. What do I feel about this delay for Storm 4? To be honest, it doesn't really affect me much, considering I haven't been following Storm 4 much. Outside of the videos that I had watched from my subscriptions like PS3 360 HD, I really have not invested too much in this game, mainly because, well, they always come out for a new one the following year. However, since this was a number title, I guess I should have been a little bit more invested into it. But regardless, while it doesn't affect me, I can understand for all the fans out there who buy these games annually, this is a big issue. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, to pull the Shigeru Miyamoto argument, a delayed game comes out eventually, a bad game is bad forever. That is especially true. And as a person who used to really love the Storm games at one point, there were a lot of things I feel that, you know, adding a couple more months of development definitely could have fixed, especially now with the community that's so vocal on trying to get this game more balanced, trying to make sure it's more polished and not just the spam fest, trying to add more, I guess you could say, depth for a Naruto game. I can see why having this delay to iron out all the bugs and fix all the kinks would actually be beneficial. However, that's not to say that video game delays can't have their instances where they're not worth it at all. I mean, you look at games like Watch Dogs that came out still broken. You look at so many other games that released that had delays pushed into like the next year. Batman Arkham Knight is a prime example on PC. You know, how do they have this much time to work on it and yet they only dedicate like 8 weeks towards the PC version? It just doesn't make sense. So delays, you definitely have to go on it by a case-by-case basis. Granted, as a whole, they're good, but you know, in most instances, you just have to wait and see. And realistically, when you look at it, there really hasn't been much hype for Storm 4 outside of the dedicated fanbase. Namco Bandai usually goes in around this time when it comes to their game, promoting it up at every single event they can, trailers out the wazoo, and also a playable demo. So, granted, while we are a couple of months off from the original release date, it would have made zero to no sense for them to not advertise it during the summer season when they have for years prior. They have not announced a delay yet for North America, but I would assume that once they get closer and closer to like the next big major American event, they'll probably confirm an official release date for the game in the States and in Europe. But Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 is not launching this fall, ladies and gentlemen. Moving away from Naruto, but keeping in the realm of disappointments in the video game industry, ZombiU is now multi-platform. For the three of you out there who own a Wii U and the one of you who actually bought ZombiU on release, you guys might recall that it was this zombie game that was a launch title for the Wii U, and well, that was it. There was really nothing spectacular or crazy about it. But there were rumors floating around the past year or so. I remember hearing trademarks being filed for Zombi on other platforms. And now it's been confirmed that it's going to be releasing on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Now, I know a lot of people are concerned about the fact that ZombiU is not on Wii U anymore, that the Wii U lost an exclusive. Coming from a person who really hasn't played ZombiU, I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh, you know, it doesn't matter because, you know, the definitive version's going to be on the Wii U. I'm not going to sit here and try to make an argument to defend the Wii U because the game as a whole really never looked interesting to me. I mean, there were a couple of cool things like with the gamepad and how you could do certain things there, but realistically, that shouldn't be a reason why people buy a game on one system over another. Especially considering how nowadays they can easily find ways to work it into an inventory system. So even though I never got a chance to fully experience the game the way it was meant to be played, I can say that the reasonings why I didn't stem from Ubisoft. I mean, this was supposed to be a major launch title for the Wii U. This was supposed to give people a reason to buy Ubisoft games on the platform. And when you look at the amount of effort that Ubisoft puts into like any one of their numerous new IPs, especially last generation, and you compare that to ZombiU, it just doesn't add up. You see the resources they put on one game compared to what they put for ZombiU, they definitely gimped that game as a whole, and they expected the community to, you know, fall in love with it. So I guess that's the reasons why they believe the game needs to be on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC, so it could do better as a whole. But realistically, I think the game would have done better if they actually put the effort into it and gave Wii U owners a reason to buy the game, you know? It's not so often that I actually place all the blame on the third parties with the Wii U situation, but come on, definitely something like ZombiU. You can see the amount of effort Ubisoft put into that, like, compared to like what they put for the first Assassin's Creed, you know? But, you know, we're not here to get into an argument about that. Zombi is launching on the 3 platforms in August, so it's relatively close from now, only a couple weeks left till its release. They haven't specified a price on it, but you won't find me paying anything more than $20 for this game. Now moving into some better news, more exciting news, Square-Enix. Oh my god, what is going on with Square-Enix? Finally listening to the fans! Oh my god! And what am I talking about? I'm talking about the granddaddy of them all, Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest, ladies and gentlemen. So the Dragon Quest series for a while has been kind of up in the air when it comes to the fan base. Square really hasn't talked much about the next main installment of the series. They've been more focused on putting out remakes for the older games and doing some side things here and there. But they finally confirmed that the next main installment of Dragon Quest is indeed coming. Dragon Quest XI is coming on the PlayStation 4 and Nintendo 3DS. So just looking at that right now, you can definitely see that Square Enix is listening to the audience, right? The majority of the Dragon Quest fans for the past couple of years have been on Nintendo handhelds because that's where they've been releasing a lot of the games. They put out the remakes on those. Dragon Quest X, the MMORPG, was on the Wii, Wii U, and 3DS. So a lot of people were expecting that the next main game would be on 3DS. It makes sense because Japanese RPGs, Japanese handhelds, money! Look at that. But it was really interesting to see them announce it for the PlayStation 4. And to see that Square Enix is definitely going balls to the walls to support the system because while the PlayStation 4 is selling relatively well outside of the world, in Japan it's not necessarily the case. Sure, it's selling units, but it doesn't have really major backing of Japanese publishers until Square Enix stepped on board and said, hey, 5 Dragon Quest games are coming to the PlayStation 4. I think realistically that's all the support you're ever going to need for the time being. Because when they released Dragon Quest Heroes, that Dynasty Warriors game, a couple of months back, that game sold like hotcakes. I believe to its date, the game's been out only a couple of months and it's already sold over 1 million copies in Japan. I'm just so shocked that the game has sold well because for a while a lot of people were thinking that console gaming in Japan is dead. There's no reason to put a game on the consoles when you can make more money on the handhelds. And when you see Dragon Quest, not even a main Dragon Quest game, come out on the PlayStation 4 and it does blockbuster sales units, like, that is just insane. So from Dragon Quest Heroes, they also announced Dragon Quest Heroes 2 is now a thing, of course, because the game sold over 1 million copies in Japan alone. It's not even out outside Japan. They also confirmed a Minecraft-style spin-off for Dragon Quest called Dragon Quest Builders. That's coming out on PlayStation 4, PS3, and PlayStation Vita. They also confirmed that Dragon Quest X, the MMORPG that came out on multiple platforms, is coming to the PlayStation 4, and that Dragon Quest XI, the main game in the series, is releasing on the PlayStation 4. So it's just nothing but Dragon Quest awesomeness going on in Japan. Like, I'm just so excited as a person who's been a fan of Dragon Quest for a while. Granted, not the biggest fan out there, not the biggest fan, nowhere near as big as some of the other people. I can definitely appreciate what Square is doing with this because they are making it so accessible for their audience, especially when releasing it on PlayStation platforms. Because while having the remakes on the Nintendo 3DS is great, you're not playing those games if you don't know Japanese. And you're not playing those games unless you buy Japanese 3DS because they're region locked. But realistically, if there are hardcore fans out there, all they'd have to do is import like the PS3 version of a game or the PS Vita version of the game to play it. So definitely hats off to Square-Enix for actually listening to the Dragon Quest fan base. And the fans out there, keep supporting the things you want to see. Like, if these games sell well, we are going to get more of them in the future, and I have no doubt in my mind that they are going to bring over the remakes on the 3DS in addition to the main games, because it's business at the end of the day. They're not going to bring something over if they don't see the incentive from the fan base. But moving away from the sales mumbo jumbo, let's talk a bit about Dragon Quest XI. They really didn't show too much outside of, I guess you can say, I don't want to call it a tech demo, but really nothing happened in the PlayStation 4 version of the game. The 3DS looked like it was significantly farther along in development, for obvious reasons. The PlayStation 4 version is actually going to be using the Unreal Engine 4. This comes as a shock to me, but at the same time, it's actually expected. Because when you look at a lot of developers nowadays, keeping specifically in the Eastern realm, a lot of Japanese developers have opened up a lot more to the concepts of Western development, especially using things like Unreal Engine 4. Unreal Engine 4 is such a versatile engine to use for video game development. It definitely speeds things along compared to, you know, companies using their own in-house development tools. And I'm happy to see that more developers are getting on board with this, because this means potentially the games are going to get out quicker. I mean, you guys saw a big notable example of this. Kingdom Hearts 3 was moved over to Unreal Engine 4, and a lot of people were complaining that, oh, it's not going to have the Square-Enix charm, you know, why isn't it using the Final Fantasy 15 engine? And then you look how gorgeous Kingdom Hearts 3 looks. It's just no competition right there, and if that means that the game is going to get out earlier than 2024, then by golly, I will take Unreal Engine 4. And it's a great development just looking at a lot of the games that are being made with it, a lot of the tech demos that are, you know, coming from this. It definitely shows that this engine can, you know, give developers the tools they need to realize their vision. You know, enough mumbo jumbo talk. So yeah, I'm excited about more Japanese developers, you know, using different engines, if that means that they're going to get their games out in a timely fashion and, you know, the games still look really god darn beautiful. But it is kind of sad at the end of the day when you think about how much time and money Square put into that freaking Luminous engine that they've been working on. Man, they were working on that engine for the longest time. I want to say since Final Fantasy 13 was announced, you know, using that engine, and realistically looking at the games that came out from it, I mean, I personally feel that it was a waste of time to use that. Especially considering that going forward, most of their games are probably going to be on Unreal Engine 4 if it's a success with Kingdom Hearts 3 and Dragon Quest XI. But yeah, man, maybe this is a different Square, a new era of Square Enix. Better decisions. Definitely better decisions. Except for that one. So those were all the news stories that I wanted to share with you today, ladies and gentlemen. My name is NGS. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys are interested in any of the other videos I'm going to be uploading from this year's Otakon, definitely check out the playlist or click the ones that are on the screen right now. I definitely think you guys will get a kick out of that because it's some pretty cool stuff and it's something that I really do enjoy sharing with y'all. So until my next video, from me to you for now, I'm NGS signing out, and like always, I will catch you guys later. Peace.